no! I just dropped a bit inside there. What's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Trav2323, TREV2323. Today we're going to be installing these line posts and the rail system. These are the Designer's Image Classic stair post and rail system. You see right here, this is what comes with it. This little piece is two separate pieces, and you take this off, and then there is your aluminum post right here. Now this comes off and goes down. I have no idea for why or for what reason. This right here, I'm screwing that in just like that. Although if you remember, when I built the stairs, I put a piece of 2x12 in between here, so I know that starts 1.5 inches in. I got a 2x6 at the bottom that starts about 1.5 inches in right here. So with these right here, you're gonna need your own lag bolts. So these are what I bought: lag screws, galvanized, and I bought washers. I was thinking I was gonna put the washers on top, but if you put the washers on here, this decorative top will not cover it. But the good thing is I had washers anyways, because when you put this all together like this, you're going to have to use a level and balance it. So before I even start drilling any pilot holes for these 5/16 inch lag screws, I got all these washers. And oh, another thing, the whole bottom is coated in oil. So if you touch the bottom part and this, look what happens. All right, but either way, with this right here, you're gonna actually find out where you're gonna want to mount it, and then you're gonna have to, you know, kind of set it there and then check the level. Like this one, the fronts have to come way up. So I bought all these washers, and I'm gonna put them underneath there before I screw it down, or on whatever side they need, to make sure that this is level. And then also I'm going to measure the same distance from the edge to here and from here to here to make sure this is in the same spot of the composite board as that one and that one and that one. Now it says to do your bottom ones and get your bottom ones affixed first, and then don't completely affix the top ones until you get the rail system in. So I'm going to go ahead and drill a pilot hole. Now with the pilot hole, I just used basically a tip. This is from a door to put the a circle, 1.25 inch circle hole, and then I got this right here to put the lags in. I didn't know if this would fit for the 5/16 inch lags, so I attempted it right there. So right now, all I'm going to be doing is using all these little washers to get this plumb level measure in the exact same, this one and that one, or that one and that one. I'm gonna start with it because you're supposed to mount two first and then leave the other ones loose so you could get the post in. But it says leave the top ones loose, I guess, so you could get the post in, move them around and get the post in. So I'll start with the bottom two first, and as you can see, there's something in the way that I got to get out this way because we're not going to be able to walk through that. So this is gone. This is supposed to actually be in the garage, but since I was doing this project, I didn't get time to clean up the garage. Let me get this leveled and show you what. All right, the composite is a little bit wet. I tried marking it, and the marks really didn't stay. So this is about this. Well, this is exactly where it's going to be. So I'm going to start by getting it where the place I want, hold it in place, and then starting the pilot holes while it's right here in place, and then I'll go from there. I had my wife come out, and she went ahead and kind of looked it over, told me exactly where she thought it should go. That's all I need. Make sure I get it set again. Okay. See all the prints on it from just touching the dang thing? Okay. So that's where it's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these pilot holes, and I'll make them bigger with the other bit. The bit for the lag bolt, but this bit is kind of dull. So I gotta put put some pressure on this one. Oh. Now I know this one had one, and these had three back here to make it level. So that's where those are gonna go. And then that one, then I put this right back in place on those. Okay, now with the lag bolts, I kind of finagled this together to, let's see what kind of bit I got. The 1/2" bit, see, for the top of the lag bolts. And I'm gonna try to hold it in straight to start it. And then go from there.
That's going pretty good. We'll do kitty corner here.
Easier if I took that off, huh? Make sure that the opening is on this side, because this is where your rails goes in. Okay, I put this on 1 or 0, and then this right here goes over the top, and then this right here clips together. This is off. Now this is gonna get held down with the rails, so clips together and goes on the top. I do got the washers underneath there, so we'll see if it covers those. Yep, covers the washers too. So let me go ahead and measure exactly where this is. I'm gonna drill the holes before I put the washers, and then these are gonna be in place. I gotta rub that down because, like, look at, I told you, you touch the bottom of it and it's coated in oil, and you get it all over the place. I'm gonna get this one in, and then I'll be right back with you. And actually, that's pretty dang sturdy. I mean, you're not gonna be sitting on it, but it's pretty dang sturdy to watch. The posts were easy peasy, but the rails are a pain in the keister. We had to use the vibrating saw because we had to cut these down some so they could fit in. See how they could fit in like that? We had to cut them down some. And then it says loosen, leave the top ones loose to fit that in. Heck, I needed to leave them both loose just to shimmy it and jiggle it around, and that's only for the plastic. Now I need the hacksaw because I marked the rails, and I'm gonna have to cut the rails with a hacksaw, and it says to paint wherever you cut at. But that's what it's looking like right there. I put those, after I got the bottom one where I kind of wanted it, then I went ahead and kind of flipped it over on the top one, and I put them in the exact same place. But I could tell from the bottom how it slides a little bit that it could have been a little bit longer, but we'll play with it when we set everything in place. I think the top and bottom pieces, the spigots, spindles or whatever, are gonna have to be put in place before we put that whole thing in place. I'm gonna cut this steel right now. Rail. We're just putting these in, we're putting it together now. It says to paint this end before you put it back together. I'm done, I'm sitting there and forgetting it. Alright, here's the bottom rail that I got right here. This is the actual bottom rail right here. So we're gonna flip it over. Oh, I put it upside down. Shit. Okay, hold on.
Put it in and cut it in the other angle.
I cut the other angle. I cut the wrong angle on this one. Let me see, what's it looking like on that side? Is it sticking out?
Yep. So.
It's sticking out. See? I cut the dang wrong angle on this one.
Wait. Take your pencil and mark that end on that angle.
Okay, but that's even over there?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so one more cut. Okay, this is the bottom, right?
I believe so.
Okay, now we snapped it all together while we were down there. So this is the rail, And let's see, we always put the top in first. And then the bottom got to do it. Oh, okay. And the steel is holding the stem off.
Do you have mallet? Top end's hanging out the steel this way.
It's the top end's hanging out the steel.
The steel's hanging out this way.
A lot.
About an inch.
Can you get that in or no? No.
Got a hammer?
Watch the window. You going in?
Yep.
Yeah. The bottom is in all the way. Oh shit. Because I'm not hovering on the bottom there. Ow. There we go. Oh. Push toward me.
They got us in a winter weather advisory.
Do they really?
Yep. From midnight till 10 a.m. Up to 3 inches of snow possibly.
3 inches? This is really going to be close enough for government standards. They do look all straight up. You just got to hit all these screws in right now. I did do some cuts wrong on the bottom. But I always call them my signatures. I always call them my signatures when I make a mistake. But after everything gets screwed in right, that looks pretty dang good. The top and the bottom piece, the bottom rails, after you get the bottom rail measured and cut, you could kind of almost duplicate it on the top. But you got to watch it to flip it because the holes are this way. So if you cut it the same way, the angles ain't gonna match. And that's what I did to the bottom steel piece. But the rails were more a pain in the butt than the posts. The posts were actually very easy compared to lining up. Check it out. I forgot to put these back down. I'm glad they come apart. Otherwise, it'll be look kind of funky. But right now we're going ahead and putting those in. And actually, I mean, you can't swing out on it, but it is pretty dang stable for a rail that I don't got to paint anymore. What kind of blasphemy is this? The only screws that they give you are square heads. All right, so what happens is these are self-tapping screws, and you put that little piece in there. See that little gray piece I put in there? And then you got to self-tap these into here, and that's the one thing that holds this top in place. These are self-tapping, so they'll go right into that steel. But luckily, I had one of these old antiquated pieces right here, and it got the square tip head that's actually going to fit in there for me. But other than that, the bottoms we didn't cut really. The top we cut on the angles. We cut it really to fit so we could work with it, and it turned out that we cut that one on the angles to get on the post. And this one right here, both of them, we had to cut these down in order to fit the angles in, like I said. And then they send it to you all pre-oiled, so everything you touch has oil stains on it. So that was harder. It looks beautiful, but it was a lot harder than I thought getting those dang rail posts in. Okay, so these right here, I was wondering why I have 4 of them. Not only do you do the top ones, do you do the bottom ones, but these will be a little bit harder to shoot in. At least the top rests upon there. The bottom, you gotta kind of hold into place as you're shooting it right there. And this is actually, this does sturdy it up really good. Oh no! I just dropped the bit inside there. You gotta be kidding me. Let me see if I can grab it. There is a place to grab it. if you could get, oh no, there's not. Well, I guess I won't be doing the other ones today. At least I got those done, but it's supposed to snow tomorrow, so I gotta hurry up and get this side done. Yeah, look at that. Now this post right here, I just drilled the pilot holes. I didn't even put that one in. I loosened all those up right there. And with my rails, I did the other ones wrong, the top and the bottom, so I did these the exact same way wrong. So then this way my measurements could be in the exact same place. See, this rail is with that rail, so now it's going, this one is going a lot easier. So what I did is I put my post in, but I only drilled the bottom ones in. The top ones I left out really loose. And then after that, I measured my bottom rail, and you have to cut the bottom so this angle could fit right here. I did it with a vibrating saw. And then you cut your length of this top rail. You cut this, you measure this, and you cut this on an angle, and then you put it to cut it down. Now let that go, pa. So this right here is cut on an angle. Right here on the inside is cut on an angle, so that's perfect. So I'm gonna get the top rail and cut it on the opposite angle, and then cut the steel rails and put it in place. Right here, this right here does not fit all the way in, so you do have to cut that right there. So we cut that with a vibrating saw right there, and then we're gonna make sure when this pushes in that it's gonna be, those are gonna be up and down, and then we're gonna cut the top. All right, we're having a discussion, same cut or opposite cut. So if you cut these like this with both holes looking at you, that's wrong. And also you got to make sure that on these, the opposite, see on one side of them it's really close to the edge, and the other side of it you have a lot of room to cut right here. So we're cutting where there's just a little bit to cut, and this is actually going to get hidden in the 4x4. But if you cut it this way, like, it's going to be the wrong cut. So what you have to do is, the one's going to be the bottom rail and the other's going to be the top rail, but the hole's got to be on the other side of each other in order for it to work out right. Messed up these cut last time. So see this channel, this is where the posts are going to go into. So make sure you keep your bottoms and your top separately so you can line them the exact same way when you cut them. I cut them opposite last time. Kind of look like I know what I'm doing, huh? Well, there's the problem. Okay, one, the rails, the first rail was a little bit harder because I didn't know what I was doing. The second one, like a snap. Speaking of snap, I cracked it because I didn't go low enough with the vibrating saw on the angle. You got to make sure with the angle that you have these cut low enough but not too low. So I did crack it. So all that is white caulk. After it all dries, then I'll peel this off, and I might sand it and paint it with white touch-up paint, but it looks amazing. They came out amazing. Look at that. And this is my first time doing stair rails, first time doing stairs, first time doing vinyl siding. If I could do it, you could do it.